Jason Tatum is on a different level right now. Great bounce back win for the Celtics last night. Boston still settled in for too many threes for my liking. The big difference this game compared to game 2 is that they made them at a much more decent clip. It was enough to fend Philly off. The Sixers do have the more sustainable offense going in my mind with their drives to the rim and paint touches. I do still want to see the Celtics diversify that offense despite being up 2-1 in the series. In this game, we saw the Celtics really turn away from Tatum as that starting center. We saw Vooch even get the start in the second half. For me, I honestly prefer Tatum. He did get into some early foul trouble, which may have played into it a little bit. I understand Vooch's ability to stretch the floor for us. We can play a 5-out offense with Vooch on the floor. But I honestly think that if that's what you want, I think Garza is the better option. He's the better three-point shooter. And on the offensive glass, he is way better. He is pretty similar to Vooch on the defensive end. Both of them are not the best at rim protection. They don't have the best lateral mobility. For that, I would still turn to Tatum. I even think that the Celtics against this undersized Philly team could be running a few small ball lineups. Maybe you get Shireman or Walsh in there instead of a traditional center. And then you can really run a 5-out offense where anyone is capable of handling the ball. Things got a bit dicey for the Celtics in the second quarter. Their shooting abandoned them and they really struggled to get anything else going. They've refused to play downhill for whatever reason, despite it working so well in game 1. Philly has obviously upped their physicality on that end, but not to the extent that guys like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum shouldn't still be able to get points in there, or at the very least, collapse the defense, create better looks on the perimeter. Instead, though, a lot of possessions for the Celtics are starting and ending on the perimeter, and it's always going to be tough to create enough separation to get a high-quality look if you're not at least touching the paint first. The Sixers played a very well-balanced game, and were nipping at Boston's heels for the majority of it. They've done a very good job of turning the Celtics over and just overall forcing sloppy play from the C's, which is not something you often see from them. The question really is if Philly has the offensive firepower to outgun Boston, even when the Celtics are not playing at their best. And so far through 3, we have not seen Philly with the consistent capability of doing that. They took one game from Boston, but really let the Celtics take control of the game down the stretch list. In the second half, the third quarter especially, Maxey was really getting whatever he wanted, which is not a good thing for Boston in the slightest. I would like to see them maybe double team him instead of playing him straight up. If you play Maxey one-on-one, as soon as he hits a few shots, he really is just going to be pulling up from anywhere on the court. And with only one guy on him, it is too easy for him to create that separation. Easy enough to just have a quick step back, and from there, once he's hot, he's not missing those. So I would like to see the Celtics force him to kick it out to a teammate, make someone else beat them instead of Maxey, who has a proven ability to. Tonight really just wasn't VJ Edgecombe's night. After that big game 2, his three-point shooting tonight is exactly why I wasn't worried about him hitting 6 of them in game 2. He's not yet at that level where he's a consistent enough shooter to force Boston to respect him, so they will more than live with an Edgecombe 3 as the end to any possession. Ultimately, it was a much closer affair than it should have been for the Celtics. I'd still like to see them introduce more ball movement to their offense because there's an awful lot of dribbling tonight on certain possessions that either ended up as turnovers or simply empty possessions. But at the end of the day, you cannot argue with a win. And although it didn't hurt them tonight, I honestly don't like the Celtics closing the game with Vooch in the lineup. He wasn't hitting his threes to end the game, which is really the only reason to have him on the floor over Tatum, as Nimi is miles better as a rim protector and would have likely been able to prevent some of those attacks at the rim we saw from Drummond and Oubre late, which could have put the game away a lot sooner for Boston. Celtics are the most seasoned playoff team in the league, so although it wasn't pretty tonight, they know how to turn it up a notch when they need to, and just executed on everything they needed to down the stretch. Those threes from Pritchard and Tatum are just emblematic of the poise that Boston has in positions like these, and it's pretty amazing to see Tatum hitting the dagger in a playoff game, not even a year after tearing his Achilles. Boston needed this one, and they got it, so I'm sticking with the C's in 5. It remains to be seen if Embiid will be back, but either way, I simply trust Boston more in a playoff setting.